Right, I've had a young man ask me on what bite alarms he should be using. Really can't answer that at all. There's a few factors that I would look at. Well, two factors really. Performance and reliability are the main ones. I'm not really one for jumping on trends and things like that, and I've had a few bite alarms in my time. There's some great alarms out there, and there's some real rubbish out there, which to be fair, if you're looking at bite alarms for a tenner, you just know you're asking for trouble. Really, they're not cost effective really. If you're only going every now and again, I suppose they'd be okay, or you're an occasional carper and you just want to have a sleeper rod out, whatever, then something like that, and you're only fishing good weather, then they're perfectly fine. But it wouldn't be something I would recommend. I'm no expert on bite alarms. As I said, I've had a few in my time, nearly 34 years of carp fishing, but I've tend to fell, on what I know. I'm not into gadgetry and seesaw effect. There's all sorts of things out there that can sort of blow your mind. I always feel that the more a bite alarm has, there's more things to go wrong. And I know that people have had issues with the Fox RX Pluses and the Delkim TXIDs. I did own a set of the RX Plus and the TXIDs, and I had issues with both sets. I'm not going to go into which one I thought was the best or anything like that, because they're both equally as good. You'll get the avid Fox guy that you'll say the Foxes are the best thing since sliced bread, and you'll get other people that say the Delkims are the best thing since sliced bread. Both sets, both manufacturers let me down, and I wasn't best pleased at the time, because they're not cheap items. They're a lot of money. Thankfully they were still covered under warranty, but I hadn't got the confidence in them, so I went back to what I do now, and I've never had, to be fair, I should never have moved away from them, and I certainly won't move away from them again. But these are my bite alarms, and these are my Stevie Nevs. These are the Mark 3s. Absolutely bulletproof. There's nothing elaborate about them. They're just ultra reliable. It's just on off. Do have a receiver, which I do use, and there's I think it's a two-way toggle switch that I can alter the sensitivity. So I wish to. They're stupidly loud. I did have the speaker cones made for me, and I've got the bungs as well, just to quieten them down. And these are in the, I suppose, like a purpley sort of colour. But there's nothing elaborate about them. There's nothing fancy about them particularly. They do look nice, to be fair. I've got them on the Embroise stainless and the Embroise bobbins. They're all tackle tarts. I do like the old school look, so I just go with what I know. Those just don't let me down, so I can't see me changing. You do have to look after these a little bit, because the cases aren't great. You see a lot of them with broken bottoms, but that's just people just over tightening them when they're putting them on. These aren't on that tight. They still move slightly, so there's no stress on the bottom of the plastic, and a lot of it is how you look after them. I always, when I make sure that when I change the batteries, when I take the back plate off, that I always put a little piece of sealant again back on. But I've fished in some horrendous weather with these, and they've just never missed a beat. So, but my answer to the young lad's question is get what's right for you. Don't jump on. I mean, the TX. I think they're the like the EV range in the Delkims. Apparently they're very good. But again, you get what suits you in your budget. I wouldn't scrimp on my bite alarms at all. I like the Stevie Nevs. They're a no nonsense alarm. They just perform you know, to be fair, I've never ever known anybody have any real issues with them. And all bike alarms have issues. Sooner or later, they you know, things do go wrong. If people say that, you know, they've, I suppose there is people out there that have never ever had an issue. I have had issues with Stevie Nevs in the past, but they were very old anyway. I think I'd had them 7 or 8 years. So, you know, and I do fish quite a bit, so they had a bit of a hard life, and sooner or later things are going to break and give up on you and God knows what else. But nothing lasts forever these days, unfortunately. So my advice is get something that performs, and more importantly, that's reliable. As I said, don't jump on the latest trends. Some people will say Foxes are better, some people will say Delkins are better, but it's what feels right for you and what budget that you've got, because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, not the latest trends. The fish are certainly not interested in what you use, and there's some people out there, unfortunately, will knock you for whatever alarms you do use, especially if they're not the top of the range. But they lead very sad lives when they do things like that. But yeah, that would be my advice: performance and reliability. And obviously, if you've got no budget, then, you know, world's your oyster, really. There's loads of bike alarms out there. The Wolf Icon looks a very good alarm. I've seen some great reviews on that. Some great reviews on the brand new Fox Mini Micron as well. So, you know, whatever alarms you go down, then I'm sure that you'll be happy with whatever. But for me, Stevie Nevs all day long. They're a no nonsense alarm, and they just perform, and that's all that I want. But I hope that helps a little bit. As I said, I'm no expert on bike alarms at all, but if it was my advice, performance and reliability. Cheers.